Alright, so Ellie, how's it going? I know that we went over a lot last week, so do you want to just kind of start by taking a moment to just tell me how it's been since the last time we saw each other?
Yeah, so last week was okay. I was glad that I came to therapy, and so I felt like it was nice to kind of just share that with someone, what's going on in my life. So, and then the past week, I still kind of felt a little bit off and low. Just feeling, I think I said this last time, just like more lethargic. So that kind of was the same. But I was kind of just glad that we could chat. And so yeah.
Good. I'm so happy to hear that you felt so. It sounds like you kind of feel like this might be helpful, or might be something that you think is a good idea to do.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I've never done it, like I said, but
Right.
Yeah.
And it can be scary to kind of do something like this if you've never done it before. So I'm glad that you're feeling good about it so far. That's good to hear.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, like I said before, we kind of went over a lot, so which is good. I'm glad to have been able to hear a lot about your life and your story. So just kind of recap a little bit of what we talked about. So you had shared with me your relationship with your mom in the past, and her struggle with bipolar, I think is what you said. So your struggle with bipolar, and then moving here for school, and how that has impacted you with your relationship with your family members, and then just kind of trying to adjust here, and then you also shared with me your relationship with your boyfriend, and how that has kind of been a little bit of a challenge lately as well. And ultimately, it seems like you just are feeling not yourself right now, but you also have the courage and the motivation to come to therapy to kind of see what you can do to work through that. So, does that kind of sound accurate to you?
Yeah, and I think also just, I think I mentioned too, like just trying to keep in touch with friends back home, and also just like great friends here, but I just feel like I don't have a lot of energy to like meet people.
Okay.
So, but I do, I mean, I'm so grateful for my boyfriend, so that's been good, but yeah, I think you said it right, like I just don't feel like myself, so.
Okay. So good. This is a good place for us to start breaking through a lot of these things that you're going through, and kind of seeing what we can do to get you back to feeling like yourself. So I just kind of wanted, there was a few things that we didn't really get a chance to touch on last week. So I wanted to kind of address those just to offer you an opportunity to share if there's anything that we didn't get to talk about last week. So you had mentioned last week how after your parents separated, your dad remarried, and your stepmom coming into your family was a little bit challenging for you, in terms of just kind of bringing a totally different perspective, different values, and so I just was wondering if you would like to elaborate on that. I know that you said that she is a different race than you and your family, your stepmom, right? So I wanted to kind of offer you the chance to kind of share a little bit more about that experience, if you would like to.
Sure. So my mom and dad, they're Korean, and I don't know how much you know about Korean culture, but like respect is very important in our family, and actually age is very important in our family. So you have to respect someone who's older than you, no matter what, and it's kind of a whole thing based on like if you have seniority anyway, you have to respect them. So I kind of feel like my dad remarried Leia, and she's white, and I just kind of feel like she didn't respect our family by merging in and trying to like establish that she's our like mom, and yeah, so this was very uncomfortable, and I feel like she just didn't respect our traditions, nor did she try to get to know about them. And
Okay.
I also feel like my dad was kind of overlooking that because he wanted to devalue that relationship.
Right.
So yeah, it's just really annoying.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be a challenging situation to navigate. And I mean, because like you said, your dad really values that relationship. So how do you like address the concerns you're feeling when your dad, the person really important to you, isn't addressing them himself too? So yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that with me and for kind of providing me some information. That's really helpful. So then, do you think that? I mean, I know that a lot of different people identify with different parts of who they are as a person. So, do you think your own identity, having that family dynamic change? Do you think that you changed because of that situation, because of your stepmom coming into your family, or do you think you were able to kind of really still hold true to those previous identities?
By the previous identity, do you mean like Korean identity?
Yeah, or just anything that you really felt like you identified with or that was really important to you. You think that kind of changed having someone come into your family who wasn't there before?
I guess I'm just trying to think of the identities I had before. So I don't feel like she. I mean, I think what Leia kind of disrupted just maybe my family, what I thought my family's identity was.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
And even though my mom has, her own issues, like we all do,
Right.
I still felt like we were somewhat of a family, even though my parents were divorced.
Right.
It was what I was familiar with.
Yeah.
And I think I also just don't like that she's like just different and just kind of like ignorant about what's going on. And,
Right.
it just feels very uncomfortable for me. So
Yeah.
I guess it just disrupted what I envisioned as like my family's identity.
Okay. Okay. So your family as a whole, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that's really understandable because I mean your family as a whole is changing so drastically, not only with you and your or well, not you but your mom and your dad separating, but then also your dad marrying somebody completely different, so
I kind of just imagine him just staying that way.
right.
Or yeah, so
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then
I sorry.
No,
Oh,
keep going.
I do want to say that I am happy that he seems to be happy as well. So
Okay. Okay. So is that so you're happy that he's happy. So he seems like he's finding the relationship to be beneficial for him.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah.
Okay. So then, having moved here, we kind of talk a lot about relationships and support systems, and in regards to your mom, and in regards to some of your friends, kind of having challenges keeping in touch with them.
Yeah.
So has your relationship, and I think we touched on this a little bit last week too, you and your dad's relationship, but do you think your relationship with your dad and your stepmom, just that portion of your family, do you think that has altered a lot since you've moved here?
I mean, my dad tries to check in quite often, like at least once a week. He's not as good with checking on the phone, but he prefers like emails. So he'll just say like "I love you, Allie" or something.
Okay.
Any email like that.
Okay.
So he, I guess we don't see each other as often. Obviously, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's making effort, and I'll try to call him a few times too. But he's just really busy. And
Okay.
So I feel like it's what's kind of expected.
Okay.
Since I mean I'm not in grad office anymore. So.
Right. Okay. Okay. So it sounds like you're making an attempt to kind of stay in touch, but it's just it's becoming kind of a challenge to keep those social supports, having been in a totally different area than here.
Right. I think just being physically away, obviously, it makes sense that we can't like drive to meet each other.
Right.
But I know that he has like a work conference coming up in Detroit, and so I think we'll get together like in a couple of weeks or something. So, yeah.
It's always I feel like it can be really comforting to reconnect with people having been away for a while. So, yeah. So, last week we had talked about how we had kind of formed a connection between the start of feeling not like yourself to kind of feeling low on energy, lethargic, and the move to Ann Arbor to start your program. We kind of like formed a connection between those two things, and you were able to kind of notice that, or at least sounds like you were able to acknowledge that maybe those things start at the same time. At least that's kind of like what I got from it. The conclusions that we came to last week.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of wondering if you had any insight into maybe how this move to Ann Arbor could have influenced the changes that you're experiencing now. Do you think like you would see any relationship between those two things?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, first of all, the workload that I'm in, it's pretty heavy, and so it's been just a couple years since I did undergrad, so it's kind of difficult getting back into the swing of things. So it's been an adjustment. So I think that can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
As well as what you were kind of saying before, like being away from my dad, my mom. You know, I used to see them quite often. Now I can't. It's been difficult. And then my best friend Alexis is in Grand Rapids, so I guess it kind of sucks not seeing her all the time.
For sure.
But we'll try to like FaceTime and stuff like that. So it's kind of difficult, and then just like trying to be cool, and I just don't feel very good.
Right.
Probably all of that. Actually, that kind of makes sense. Like why probably I'm just not feeling very energetic or social.
Right, because you're removed from a source of comfort that you had before, it sounds like. But, I mean, I think it's great that you're still trying to keep in touch with people, that you're still initiating those relationships and trying to work through them, even though they're difficult. That takes a lot of, effort and work, and it sounds like you're even though you're feeling down, you're still able to put in that effort. So I mean, good for you for doing that despite feeling the way you're feeling. You know, that takes a lot of energy, which you're saying you don't really have a lot of right now. So that's I mean, I think that's a strength that you can take pride in at this point. So, but at the same time, we want to also move forward to and work towards to kind of getting back to who you feel like you should be right now. So what do you think, like, thinking about all the reasons why you're coming into therapy, if all of those reasons were removed, if you could kind of eliminate all the things that you're struggling with right now, what would that look like at this point? Like, what if you could just go home and have all the stuff you're struggling with disappear?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure, right? Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah, I know. It's so great, wouldn't it be? What would that look like for you to kind of have that, to have all that stuff lifted off your shoulders?
Like, what would the external things be? Like, what would change?
Like what would change? Like either external situations or feelings, like internal feelings, just anything that's kind of led you here today. Like if all that stuff would be eliminated, what would be different?
Okay. Well, like this can be anything.
Yeah, anything.
Okay, so if this all looked different, I feel like, well, first of all, I feel like my dad wouldn't have gotten remarried, but I guess it would just look like Leia just respecting her family and just trying to get along better with me and my sister. I feel like she doesn't really respect us. And it would look like my mom getting healthier, getting the help she needs, not doing destructive things anymore, and it would look like probably increasing circle of friends here for me, and it would look like Yeah, just feeling happier and having more motivation
Yeah.
and trying to feel more like myself.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. No, those are really valuable things to think about. I mean, so just to summarize, to make sure I have an understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So you had mentioned that your dad, that your what is your stepmom's name?
Leah.
Leia, sorry. Okay, so that he does like that she wouldn't be in your life at all.
I know, I don't know how realistic that is.
Okay, well, it's important for us to acknowledge that. It's important for us to acknowledge that. So that she wouldn't be in your life, that your mom would be doing better. Is that what you said? Like just kind of doing well. And that your sister would be more respectful. Is that
I want Leia to be more respectful of me and my sister.
Oh, you want Leia to be more respectful
Yeah.
of you and your sister. Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I remember I don't remember her saying that about my sister last
Yeah,
okay,
no, my
that
sister's
makes
great.
sense. Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. Okay. So Leia being more respectful, and then you kind of expanding your friend group, and just feeling happier and more energetic.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are some really important desires, and I think it's also important for us to kind of think about goals for this these sessions that we have together.
Okay.
And I mean, obviously, like you had mentioned, we don't know how realistic eliminating Leia from your life actually is, but we can create goals or ways to kind of cope with these situations that are healthy, that are productive and that help us to feel better too. So, that being said, what do you think are some things that you could do or that we could do together that could help well, no, let me backtrack a second.
Okay.
What are, out of all of the things that you want to change, what are some things that you have control over? That you have control to actually change, to make changes?
I guess I could try to help my mom.
Okay.
I don't know what I would do.
Okay. So there's one. So yeah, your mom and her well-being was one of the things that you would want to change. So okay, so just kind of something that you could do would be a source of support for her. Is kind of what I'm hearing. Is that okay? Now how you would use that support is a little unclear as of right now, but that's something you could definitely do. Okay. So what about the other changes that you would address? Which ones do you have some form of control in?
Okay. So probably not the one about Leia. I mean, sadly.
Yeah.
I could try to go out and meet more people, but I just don't want to.
Right. Okay.
I don't remember what the other one was.
I think you mentioned being happier, being more energetic, being back to yourself.
Oh, yeah. So, I think maybe meeting more people and feeling better about myself I don't want to do that. So maybe if I felt better about myself, I would actually want to do that because I just don't want to. Just
Yeah, that's an important connection to make, because I feel like the way we think and the way we feel has a huge influence on how we behave, right? So if you're feeling, crummy, you're not feeling energetic, the thought of going out and making more friends, that probably doesn't seem like something you want to do either if you're feeling all this negativity inside. So that makes sense at least to me. So
I think another thing is I just want to I want to know why I'm feeling this way. I mean, I understand that the move is difficult and stuff, but yeah, I just think I don't know, do you think normal feeling people feel this way, or when some things happen like this in transitions, or?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like transitioning into a totally new environment, being uprooted from support systems you had in the past, like I feel like that would be challenging for a lot of people. I feel like it's pretty normal to have to be going through transitions and adjustments and having them be challenging. Everybody copes with that differently, obviously, but like the way you cope and having to cope is normal, and I think it's good that you want to get down to the bottom of it. Why am I feeling this way? Like, I think that's important, but at the same time, I don't feel like I don't think it's a bad thing that you're going through this adjustment and having these challenges. I mean, it's bad that like you're having to go through it, but it's not like you're the only one going through it. It's not like something's wrong with you because you're going through it.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like it's just like I should be better at it, and like, yeah, so. And I also sometimes feel like guilty, so I don't really know why.
Oh, okay.
So, but anyway, yeah.
So yeah, let's explore that a little bit. You said you feel guilty. What exactly do you feel guilty about?
I don't really know. I feel like I kind of feel bad for my mom.
Okay.
So I feel like I kind of just like watch her.
Yeah, you had mentioned that like earlier, how that was something that you really wanted to change, and that you wanted to be more in touch with her, more of a social support, but you didn't really know how to go about doing that, right? You mentioned like you didn't really know, and so you're feeling guilty because you're not there, or because you're not able to, like, what about your mom is making you feel guilty?
I feel like she depended on me more than she really said, and so now that I'm like a few hours away, I feel like she can't get hold of me as easily. I'm really busy doing my stuff, like my homework and everything. So yeah, I just kind of feel like kind of like my fault because she's, again, I think right now the last thing she said that she's dating some like 20-year-old guy right now, and just kind of going out of control again right now. So.
And it must be challenging for you to not be there when she's going through.
It is challenging. I think I said this last time too, but it's kind of, to be honest, kind of nice to be away, but also I feel really guilty at the same time. So, like, I even feel guilty saying that. That's kind of nice. But to be honest, I kind of had hoped that she would kind of find her own support, or like try to figure it out on her own, but I can't.
So it sounds like it almost sounds like you feel guilty that you're happy that you're not there, having to like help her through those situations. Mm-hmm. You're removed from that, and you're happy that you're removed from that, and you feel guilty that you're happy about it.
Yeah, but I would not want like anyone should ever know that. It's like I feel like really bad saying that. So
yeah.
I
mean that's understandable. Like, because she's your mother, you feel some sort of responsibility to take care of her and to make sure that she's doing well and that she's healthy and happy, and to like be removed from that and feel like good that you're removed from that. That I can see how that would cause some guilt.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? What do you think would be a helpful or like healthy way to kind of handle, like, to kind of, let's fix this? What would be like a helpful way for you to take care of yourself and your needs while also being a source of support for your mom? Can you think of anything that you can do that would accomplish both of those?
I mean, I mean, what do I really need? I mean, like, I feel like I weigh more than she does, so like feel like I should just be there with her. But at the same time, I do realize I have more energy over here, so like we kind of separated. So maybe I was kind of missing that, like just having some space, like to my own thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that is my need then.
Being feel needed.
Yeah, just having some space. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, sometimes when we're removed from a situation and we're not so caught up in it, we, like what you said, that space is kind of like a form of self-care. Like we're able to take care of ourselves, and then because we're taking care of ourselves, we have more energy and more like ability to give back to people. Whereas if you're with your mom all the time and she's kind of like depending on you so much, that can be draining, so that you have less energy to take care of her. Right?
Yeah, it is really draining.
Yeah. So, like you said, maybe this space, like this separation from her, could be a good thing in that the separation can provide you with more energy to actually take care of her. Even though it's from a distance, you're still able to check in, still able to call, still able to provide support. And maybe that support will ultimately be more helpful because you yourself have more energy to devote to her. Like, what do you think about thinking about it that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think I do have more energy. Guess I could try to just talk on the phone and support her that way. Yeah, I think I could try doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think going back to thinking about how we think about things, how we talked about how if we think, we're feeling like ucky inside, and how that can transfer over to our, behavior. We don't
Like with my friends, like I just feel like, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same kind of, we can almost apply that to the situation with your mom too. If you think about like, I'm not able to provide, I'm not there physically with her, I'm not able to support her, like thinking about that relationship in that kind of light. I mean, similar to how your feelings affect your ability to go out and do something, your feelings about your mom affect your ability to help her, right? So maybe with thinking about like, okay, you know what, being separated, I have more energy, maybe thinking about things that way will help create positive support for your mom. And then that in turn, maybe that can help eliminate the guilt because you actually are helping her, which, like we kind of established earlier, this guilt might be from not being able to help her. So maybe you actually are helping her, and you don't even know. So does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I just feel like I still kind of feel bad about it. But,
yeah. And I mean, like changing the way you think about things, and change in general is like can be a long process, and you might not change overnight, and these things might not get better overnight. But at the same time, we can take delight in knowing that we're working towards that. We're working towards a goal, working towards a change, and as long as we're working towards something, we can have hope that change will come eventually. So, well, thank you for sharing that with me. I know that that's something that you're really struggling with. So kind of maybe backtracking a little bit to those changes and to those goals. had mentioned that like a way to accomplish this like change that you want to see in your relationship with your mom would be calling her more. So what do you think it would take for you to call your mom more, but also like call her more, but also take care of yourself too, and like keeping that space and maintaining time for things that you need to do here to take care of yourself. What would it take for you to kind of balance those two things?
So I don't really know. I mean, I could call her like a few times a week.
Okay. Yeah. Well, why don't for next time we meet, why don't from here until then, we kind of make a goal of calling your mom like maybe 2 or 3 times,
Okay.
and like give her a call and have a conversation, and then kind of maybe keep track of like how that phone conversation made you feel, and what kinds of thoughts came about before you called your mom, and what thoughts came about after you called your mom. And then when we meet next week, we can kind of talk about those experiences, and see maybe what comes about from it. Does that sound okay with you? Does that sound like a goal that's achievable for you?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we can do that. And we'll see how it goes next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Okay, cool. Let's see. So I think that's really good that we were able to come about that together. Let's see. I had something I wanted to say. Okay, yeah, I remember. Okay. There was something else that I had thought about earlier that I wanted to make sure I mentioned, and that is, we have this goal that we're gonna work towards for next week, and I wanted to kind of also touch on your like strengths. Okay, which kind of seems a little bit distracting. Like we're kind of switching gears a little bit. Okay. But what do you think are some of your strengths currently? Things that you are really aware of that you might be really good at.
I don't know. My strengths. Yeah.
Strengths can be kind of hard to think of sometimes, huh? Mm-hmm. So, like, what do you remember a time where, like, in the past, where you remember being really proud of yourself?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, in the last paper I did really well, and I got like an A minus.
Okay.
So I was pretty proud because I worked really hard on that. So
yeah,
that's something.
Good. Okay. So what kinds of skills did you need to get an A minus in that paper?
I had to organize my stuff. I had to figure out how to time.
Okay. So do you think that you describe yourself as someone who's organized? Or
I can be. I mean, I think it's because I'm really interested in photography.
Okay.
That's why it kind of motivated me. But actually, to be honest, generally I'm not that organized of a person.
Okay.
But I actually do think, like, I have heard people say that I'm pretty creative and, like, artistic with photos.
Okay.
And so now that I mentioned that, but,
yeah, you did, yeah.
So, yeah, so I like taking photos, and, I guess I'm motivated because I do want to either open my own studio or, and that's kind of what I'm working towards.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So it sounds like, from what you're telling me, you're creative and you're motivated to achieve this goal in the studio, which I remember I was talking about last week.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be organized sometimes.
Sometimes.
So I think it's important, for you to acknowledge those skills and those strengths that you have. Because I think through our sessions, we're going to try to work towards goals similar to this goal, But to keep in mind those strengths that you have, those things that you have that have gotten you to accomplish things in the past, that have carried you through tough times in the past. Keeping those in mind while you're working through these upcoming challenges, these upcoming changes that you want to make. So kind of going off of that, you kind of struggled a little bit to come up with strengths that you had. Why do you think that might be?
I guess I don't think about that often. So.
Yeah. Would you say that you focus more on your weaknesses than your strengths?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think kind of causes you to focus on those weaknesses?
I mean, I always have kind of focused on those my whole life. But I mean, I don't know why, but I just thought of like my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, I don't know. Growing up with my mom wasn't that available. She was always, going through all the ups and downs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is that right? Like, is that something that has something to do with it? I don't know why I just thought of that, but.
No, like you mentioned your mom having lots of ups and downs, and we were kind of talking about weaknesses. So what do you think the relationship between those two factors might be?
I guess I didn't really feel like my mom valued my strengths, I guess. Or maybe it was just my interpretation of what she was always going through. But I guess I feel like she didn't really pay attention to what I was good at when I was growing up.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like your mom never really or rarely acknowledged your strengths. And if other people aren't pointing out our strengths, then how are we going to learn to acknowledge our own strengths, right? That might be something that I think we probably learn to do. From watching other people do it. So maybe your mom's interactions with you kind of taught you not to focus on those things. So maybe going back to thoughts and how we think and how that influences our behaviors. Maybe another goal for us would be, or for you would be, to kind of start thinking more about what you're good at, or trying to find those things that you're good at, those strengths that you have, because you do have them. Okay, you do have strengths, you have skills. You're in a master's program in photography. You have to have strengths and skills to be able to get to that point. So taking time to really think about those may have an influence on how you think about other aspects of your life too. Maybe it could transfer or spread, so that it can carry over to other aspects of your life. So maybe another goal, if it's okay with you, if it sounds like something attainable for you, would be to throughout the week just kind of make a note to take time to really process that and think about maybe, okay, what are my strengths? And then maybe next week we can talk about any that you've come up with.
So make a list of what I'm good at?
Yeah. And you don't have to write it down if you don't want to. You can just make a mental list, and then we can talk about those. And then maybe you can, from taking time to think of a list, you can notice areas in your life where you actually use those strengths. Where you can see, oh, you know what? I'm good at this, and I was able to do that because of it.
Okay. So, yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think that sounds like cool. So, you had mentioned kind of earlier when we got here, how your week's been pretty good. Is there anything else like that you've kind of experienced in the past week that you wanted to bring up or that you wanted to talk about or acknowledge during our time here?
It was just like kind of like a blur.
Was it?
Yeah, I was just like busy.
You were busy, okay.
I don't know, nothing huge happened. Just kind of same old kind of thing. Yeah.
So when you say same old, what is a typical day consist of?
Well, I go to class at 8.
Okay.
I try to schedule my classes in the morning to kind of gets me up. Although these days I just like kind of want to sleep. So I'm in class for a few hours, and then I go to work.
Okay.
After that, and then I just try to like do all my homework. And just, but these days I guess I'm just trying to like fall into bed as soon as I can. And so yeah, I'm just trying to like kind of as soon as the alarm goes off, I'm just like I can't wait till this day is over, kind of thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of
Going through the motions.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to class, and you're still going to class. You're still going to work. You're still doing like your homework, accomplishing all those like daily required tasks.
I'm trying to.
You're trying to, but it's becoming more challenging to actually have to find the motivation to do those things.
Yeah, I think like the only motivation really is that I'm just like, I was working in advertising before, and just wasn't kind of feeling that it fit with me very well. So I am pretty motivated to kind of finish school and work in photography.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of a drag stuff getting through all of it. So
yeah.
And just
So you want the end goal. You want to like accomplish that like big overarching goal of graduating the program and everything. But like the work it's going to take to get to that goal is kind of like becoming a lot at once. Sounds like.
Yeah, and I like school, but it's not really just like these boring lectures. Just like not really quite learn.
Okay.
So I like hands-on stuff, like getting out in nature and like taking photos and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess
So do you how frequently do you go out and about and take photos and do some relaxing walks and photo shoots? How often do you do those things that you enjoy?
I used to go all the time. Like every weekend, I would try to make at least a few hours every week to just like go to a park. Or, some friends would ask me to photograph them with their family or my friends. But these days, I think I've maybe gone just a few times out to take photos.
Well, first of all, it's great. You must be really good if people are asking you to take their photos. Families and friends are asking you to take their photos. You must be really good. That's awesome. I wish people were asking me to take their photos. But so do you do you find like that the ability to kind of go out and take those photos is that related in any way to kind of like those feelings that you've been feeling lately?
Probably, yeah.
What do you think it would take to kind of get back to going out and doing those fun things that you used to do?
I don't really know. I just kind of feel like overwhelmed with all the stuff that I family and just thinking, I don't know, just thinking about my mom and dad. So I'm just not in the mood. Yeah.
So it's
That's all I know right
of
now.
these intrusive thoughts about your family.
Yeah, I don't know. They can get intrusive, but I also feel like if, you know, it's my family, so of course I'm gonna
You're gonna think about it.
think about family too. But yeah, they can be, yeah.
Okay. Okay. No, it's really good. I can think about it. If you will, they're really tricky. Sometimes like navigating through that can end up really informing us of important things that sort of help us in the long run. So, okay, well, we talked about a lot today. I really appreciate you sharing that stuff with me and feeling comfortable sharing. I hope you feel comfortable sharing. And we came up with some goals for next week. And you still feel good about working on those goals?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, we're running to the end of our time.
No, I have nothing too. It's just 20%.
Okay, perfect. We're running to the end of our time.
I think it'll be good. Yeah.
Okay, good. So, you'll work on those goals, and then next week we'll kind of talk about them and see how they went for you, and yeah. So, thank you for coming in, and see you next time.
Okay, thank you. No, I saw that earlier. That's why I was kind of staring at it before.
Okay, good. No, I'm glad that. Oh my goodness.